people don't have jobs in the country.
Yeah.
And members of parliament were elected to go there so that they can pass laws, legislation that will help the government to create an enabling environment for people to create jobs and, you know, businesses to thrive in the process, creating jobs. But now when you start hearing some of the things that are happening, that TSC has been giving slots to members of parliament, and this has become evident that it's not just TSC. You have the military, you have the police, you have the National Youth Service. So when the ordinary mwananchi goes to the field to try, run, and so wangawasha qualify their own, it's a very sad and unfortunate situation. Something that basically deflates quite a number of people at a time like this.
Sadly, that's how it has been for the longest time.
Yes.
And not only at TSC or the TSC alone.
Yes.
You talk of any parastatal, slots come, that is what happens. Talk of the military and the police. And I remember in 1992 going to Ruringo, trying, I give it a shot for the military.
Oh, you wanted to join the military?
Yes. We were the joggers, and there were guys who already had the certificates. So we were there wagging our jaws, you know, trying to show the farthest tooth in the denture. So opening our mouth, you know, trying to, you know, prove how we can live on 3 bucks, you know, how strong our teeth are.
Yes.
Those are the kind of things we're checking, the nails, the what, you know, all this nonsense. It was an exercise that was already completed, and it's a trend. I came to learn these things when I got closer into the closest into politics, and I got to understand that leaders, various leaders in various sectors, including the National Assembly itself, they get slots. They get like 50 slots, 30 slots, you know. This time NOS is seeking for, you know, recruitment. It's not really the ordinary, you know, the procedure that is on statute is not the one that is followed. What they do is the nepotism and tribalism is one thing that really takes good effect in that area. So most people run to their kin and they get the job. Run to their friends, run to their boyfriends, girlfriends.
So it's the standard. The nation is right. It's basically who you know.
It's who you know. That's the problem with Kenya. Especially these runs even in, I told you, parastatals. Parastatals, they really have this in them, but mostly the military and the police force. Yeah, they do this. Quite often. There are some slots that are given to the leaders. So that's why you may not hear so much from members of parliament complaining about it. Yet they're the ones who legislate, because they know that if I get 50 slots and I happen to grant you that kind of a favor, during campaigns I still have security that is not chartered from the police force. So guys go on leave during election campaigns. These are the people who return their favors in that manner. So they offer protection and security when you're doing your campaigns and such. So that's just one way that some of them use these guys, but it's happening. It's rampant, I would say. It's rampant.
I remember during my younger days, I was looking for a job in a parastatal in my line of career. So I had applied and everything done. Then I received a letter calling me for an interview. I received the letter like on the, for the sake of this conversation, like on the 7th of February, I received a letter that I'm supposed to go for the interview on the 4th of February.
Yeah.
As in, the date it was sent was after the day that I'm supposed to go for the interview. So I take the letter and I'm looking at it and I'm wondering, wait a minute. The date on this letter
Yes.
is I'm supposed to it was sent on the 7th of February.
Yeah.
The date that I am being invited for an interview was the 4th of February. So I looked at it and I just knew, oh, that ugly thing we call corruption has reared its ugly head again. And you go there and it's, the interviews have already been done.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can be done.
Sure.
So this kind of thing is, and it's dangerous what they're playing, because this is one of the things that sent the Gen Zs to the streets. But we're still playing with it.
We're still playing with it. Like you have rightly put it, it actually settles on corruption. It settles on moral decay. Because when you don't care who you're hurting, because the people who qualify for the job, who qualified, really qualified, and they miss out. They feel that they've been treated unjustly. And that's why when you see an uprising like what we had with the Gen Zs, which was just something that is not supposed to be taken lightly, because it might move on and continue into a revolution that will have quite an adverse impact on the sitting government if it continues to ignore. Some of these things should change. The government in power should begin to effect the laws, implement the laws accordingly. But you see, you're appointed as a CS in charge of a certain ministry, maybe defense, maybe internal security, or any other ministry, education, and you want to play, you want to bring in the local politics, which will be kind of tribal. So you end up servicing the needs of your kinsmen.
Yes.
Now, this is what is really killing the morality. Now, what is happening is that the person who has been denied and feels that they're qualified for these slots, they're actually pushed into paying for this kind of jobs. So you'll hear that somebody who wants a slot in the police force is paying around 300,000 shillings to be admitted, while there's another one who came in for free. Yeah. Simply because of the who that person knows, the godfathers that we are talking about, who have been highlighted in these dailies. This is what is killing this nation and the world at large, which have embraced corruption. So corruption is actually stealing, is robbing people's rights. It's not necessarily robbing material and finances, even the right itself. Yes. When you rob somebody's rights, you begin to cause some psychological torment on such a person. And when it takes toll on them, the reaction is like what you see. Yeah. Everybody now feels it. With the economic crunch that Kenya is now experiencing today, it tells you that anyone who is affected and maybe had an opportunity and didn't get it, then it becomes a problem. I'll tell you this. Before we started introducing or encouraging colleges and universities, I personally did that to introduce soft skills. Let's broaden the scope of focus for our young men. If somebody is going to do mass communication today, and you've done mass communication and you're done, if you had some experience, some tips of experience that you picked from college on videography, try and see what you can do with that expertise. Yeah. Because you don't necessarily you'll be employed in a production department. You go to the VTR or something in the media house. Think about what you can do by yourself, from such areas. We always, former president, the third president, Mwai Kibaki, encouraged the civil servants to open some small businesses, something that you can do after 5 o'clock to 9 p.m., the rest, so that you don't mess the employer's time. you do something, have a side hustle. And what's happening is that when you're focused on one thing, somebody has studied economics, and in the lecture room, the best you can hear is Safaricom, Barclays, what all these blue chip companies where you can find employment. If you don't find employment in such places, yes, you will not see the need to take your economic knowledge to that grocery store, or get to learn or occupy the areas where we call the areas for mama mboga, wale umetandika pale chini, and see how you can grow it into a supermarket. I mean, when we broaden our focus and see it from that point, when we convince ourselves that we have the potential, a lot of potential that is touched in us, then we can be able to do a lot with ourselves. And the complaints that we are seeing right now, I was trained to be a teacher. Yes, you were trained to be a teacher, but teaching is broad. We're seeing guys doing tuition left and right. That is just in a small bit. But I think there's a lot more that one can do with themselves, which I may not be able to explain them, one by one. But if you think about teaching fraternity, even those people, because you are there in school to motivate the students to learn, to accomplish their dreams. Even out here, there are other ways you can be able just to tilt a bit, just that understanding, and use it now in another format. And this is what I was asking, that you see, like when we say, it's unfortunate that the same government that was campaigning for, innovation and innovations among our youth, there's a lot that the youth can do. But who's protecting the ideas the youth have?
I like something that was done during President Uhuru Kenyatta's government, and I hope it's still going on. There were some young men who were assimilated into the defense industry. Yeah. And these young men, very innovative young men, they were assimilated into the defense industry, and what they were busy working on, they even developed a Kenyan firearm. A Kenyan gun.
Yes.
They developed even drones to be used by the military.
Yeah.
When the defense industry can be one of the most rewarding industries in the country, because they're constantly innovating stuff.
Yeah.
I hope that continued. Actually, I hope that continued, because if it didn't, it will be very unfortunate. And looking at the fact that right now the budget, they're currently going through the budget making process, and the budget is the highest we've ever had, despite the fact that we did not achieve our targets in the last financial year. And that simply means that there are taxes that are going to be implemented to try and achieve the target this year, with as many people as possible who've lost their jobs, because number one, companies are moving from Kenya going to the other countries.
Sure.
Uganda, Tanzania, and the rest are benefiting from companies moving away from here. And that simply means more people are losing their jobs. And then the cost of living goes up. What do you see happening, and mostly so with this critical mass of young people?
I think you see the fallacy of getting employed. Employment. It's time we begin to think about self-employment. It's time we begin to explore our potentials, like I said, because the systems where we are right now, I'm so grateful, especially those of us who are in the social media.
Yes.
You can discover that there are lots of youth who have numerous ideas. Today you see girls doing technical work, like plumbing and whatever, and they're using these tools. That was something that was meant for the men. And today, girls are doing that. Why? Because they have broken some form of out of a certain cocoon that they were locked in. That you're a girl, you can't do this, or you're a graduate, you can go below this. You can't work under somebody who is just an artisan. Yet your needs are only 500 shillings. I remember, and I say this, I'm saying this on television, that. The free certificate at the Kenyatta University for personal leadership and governance came about as a result of pushing for something we call the soft skill, because there's that attitude somebody comes out with from the university that although I need 500 shillings or I need 1,000 shillings, and that guy can pay me 500 shillings, I'll begin to ask myself who this guy is compared to me. And you see that image is painted, used to be painted while in class. That I mean, you don't go to these Ogandawala, services or businesses to work there. Think about these big companies that can employ you. Think about big industries that can employ you if you're even engineering and anything like that. But before that, you need to purchase yourself a shirt, a handkerchief, an innerwear, food. You need to purchase some material, a phone or bundles or such. You don't need to fight your mom or dad for such. You will need just to humble yourself, come down, see if that guy is paying Mutu wa Mukono 700 shillings. Then I think that's all I needed for today. Yeah, before I get to where I need, as I'm searching for what I need.
I keep on telling people when we were young, before we got opportunities to work in the industry, we even washed toilets at. I did a kibarua at Kenya Power and Lighting. This electricity house, and I would go there. I've always been a tie guy. I think as I'm growing old, I'm getting tired of ties, but I've always been a tie guy, and I would go there to wash offices and toilets to earn a few shillings kuweka kwa mfuko.
To put your pocket.
Yes. So in my mind, I just knew, let me do whatever it needs to get. I need this amount to be able to operate. I don't want to keep on telling my parents, though I need this. I needed to have some sort of independence. So I didn't care what kind of job I got. I just got it and I did it. And I did it. And there's a meme that says, if you did it, say you did it. If you didn't did it, say you didn't did it.
Yes.
I did it.
Yes, you did it.
Yes.
And this is the reality.
Yes.
Because you can crack your head trying to think about what the budgetary planning is all about and what they are doing and what taxes are coming around, whatever. It's our concern. You get the point.
Yes.
But the day belongs to you.
Yes.
And that's how come you could take up that kind of a job. I started as a toilet cleaner in industrial area, Euromaica company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was being paid 33 shillings and 18 cents. That was good money that time, Then I graduated to 50 shillings as a road sweeper / garbage collector. My father had just got out of bed. He was bedridden for almost 4 or 5 years.
Sorry about that.
So I was not lucky with the many things. I didn't even have a chance to go to college and the like. So you could see that such things are the ones that brought about that idea of realizing how much potential you have in you. You see, you're a graduate. You did that. But if this does not work in media, and you choose to say, what else do I know? You will discover that starting a cleaning company is not an issue.
It's not an issue. I've done it.
I mean, you've done it before.
I've done it.
It's not a big deal.
I've did it.
Yeah. So working around that area and with the people around that area will still earn you a living. So the issue of dying because of the frustrations the government is causing should not exist. I'm encouraging the youth everywhere. I keep telling them that much as KIPI as an organization does not protect our interest, we innovators, because there are some billionaires who are lining up to get the phone calls from KPA. Kuna idea hapa kanaweza kutengenezea pesa. Then the guy who owns the idea is given like 6 months or 5 months or 3 months. They tell you it's around 21 days, but they'll get back to you after months.
Yes.
But this is after they do their search. And they've spoken to several billionaires. Billionaires pick it, they go and sell it to manufacturers in China and other countries that do manufacturing in India. They get your ideas, and then you will see something coming up. Or MG, I'm not saying they stole from somebody else, but M-Pesa was there. That will belong to such innovators. I had another guy who had innovated a jet engine, and I was telling him, okay, it's risky looking for somebody who's going to. He was actually from the University of Nairobi,
He had
created his own jet engine, a jet fighter engine, and
wow, that's
so
amazing.
so by the time he wanted me to lead him to somebody, but I told him, unless you purpose or choose to make the minimum out of it, the idea, this noble idea, will get stolen. You know, unless maybe you're so lucky, find your way maybe to countries like America and maybe get the best shot. With the big like the Shark Tank guys, the ones who
venture capitalists.
Venture capitalists, yeah. Because you could realize, you could see what there was a time incubation had sprung up. Oh, give you ideas, we'll keep it for you. It's not an issue of keeping for you. These guys are going to sell your idea because you have to explain everything.
Yes.
I've gone through these things. You know,
Yes.
you have to. They want you to give a video of you making that thing, the prototype itself. So when you explain and then you give the details, the fine details of it, you've already sold your idea for nothing. So you discover that there are lecturers who are resigning because they discover this thing, if I do it here, and yet it belong to student Njiri or student Okelo, then this is not going to be my business. So they just choose to resign because they know they're going to make millions out there. This is what is happening. So there's no protection. What I'm saying is that if we could just get into the market with whatever innovations we have, let's do it. Make a kill out of that thing before it's stolen, and keep creating more and more. So we embrace innovation because the systems as they are, unless the government is willing,
they're not. They've not created an enabling environment.
Yes.
For this kind of things to thrive.
To nurture this thing to
you see, we are supposed to be an industrialized nation by 2030.
Yeah, sure.
And I remember there's some young men in Kikuyu, and I featured them one day. We featured them as EBN here. Young men who have not gone to school.
Yeah.
Okay, what you can call technical school. What they did, they went to your formal school and then secondary. They've not gone to college because their parents were not able to, to finance their education. But these guys are brilliant when it comes to electronics.
Yeah.
They had generated a device, what you can call a prosthetic hand that is controlled by the impulses of the brain.
Yeah.
So you wear a contraption on your head, and then that prosthetic hand is connected.
Yeah.
And if you think you want to hold something, the fingers basically respond to the impulse coming from the brain.
Yes.
And I was thinking, I mean, we were not the first person, neither are we going to be the last person to highlight those kids. Can you imagine what would have happened if the government, keen on creating a local base to create employment, would have taken these young men and either introduce them to people who can mentor them and train them even further, because they're already doing a prosthetic hand that responds to the brain. I mean, it's just getting it together with people who will fund that project and make it better and help so many people in the country.
And that's what I'm saying. This is happening in Kenya today. Go to the streets of Nairobi. Find a young man who's doing a bulldozer and all these, earth movers. He's actually using wood and whatever, but the mechanism that is in it, if it was a country like China, that would have been a whole factory open for such a brain.
Yeah.
But in Kenya, okay, we wowed by.
We celebrate them from where they are, and we leave them there.
And we leave it there. But the government does not have any plans to improve on such. Remember during the Moi days, when you talk about making firearms, there was a guy in Kisumu who made a pistol, and I think he just disappeared because he was actually arrested. 9 zikaenda kwake, the guy was arrested, and that was the end of his story. Instead of getting such a person and take him to the military workshop, where he can now work with real guns and create something, improve on what is there, Because we have discovered that there's some things that are coming from out there, and out of innovation, locals or Kenyans are able to improve on such things by far. So what I'm trying to say, with the exposure to digital know-how, there's a lot, especially the young people can do if they are allowed. The problem is that when somebody does not benefit from what you have, you become a threat.
Let me, yes.
You know? And that's why we're trying to get out of, we're trying to get out of, getting hurt, getting our souls injured by those who are practicing nepotism. There's some things we can do by ourselves and work with the people around us who would wish to be our potential, clients. So we can work through that kind of a mindset. Yeah. So if we address that, would be good.
True. And creating maybe a department for innovations as a ministry that is well funded for research and innovation. I know of a gentleman, a young man, during President Kenyatta's reign. This young man develops phones.
Yeah.
He has done phones. He has done what you can call power banks. Real good stuff.
Yeah.
So there was an exhibition at the KICC, and President Kenyatta then passes and gets this young man. And the young man is there displaying his phones. I think his most expensive phone was around 60,000, and President Uhuru Kenyatta actually bought it. And he spoke to his aides and the guys around, the government officials around, and said, make sure this young man gets to me at State House. Because he had given instructions, instead of the ministries buying phones from other companies, they should buy from this young man, from the local company. Oi! That young man tried to access State House.
You can't.
He tried all he could to access the president. He wrote letters, the zinashutiwa. Finally, he got a very close person who told him for him to get access to State House, he had to give 1 million shillings. So you're saying now, me, I'm doing all these things so that I can access. If I would make millions, I would not mind giving you 1 million. But now this guy holds the door to accessing President Uhuru Kenyatta and is demanding 1 million shillings for this guy to go in.
You see, funding is the problem.
That's how that thing went down.
Funding is a problem. Morality is another issue. Like we just mentioned, there's somebody who wants to benefit out of that good thing they hear. I was actually, I have like 4 innovations, which I decided now I'll just push them into the market. I have like 4 innovations. One was to be supported by an Indian billionaire. And the people around him, the aide and the security guys, they tried to hinder when this guy opened up, this gentleman opened up for me. And it was not easy for them to give me his direct line after being ordered by the boss to give me the direct line. Right here at KICC. And getting to his office, the guy wanted to know, there's some 2 guys who wanted to know exactly what is it you want to discuss with the man, what is it you expect, what you expect from him, and blah, blah, blah. But you see, the gentleman was so ready. He told me, I'm going to support you, make this your baby, this company. Whatever innovation that you have, make it your baby. And he sponsored he sponsored me to go check out the market, both here and locally. Gave me good money. Yes. But a few months later, he passed on. So we have people who are ready and willing to support such innovations, such ventures. But the so-called guys who are around here, the corrupt mentality is what killed what Professor Arthur Obel had for AIDS. You know, he's the one who actually the first person to come up with the AIDS treatment. You know, and the people who were near State House could not allow this guy to get the government protection, government funding, government support, because they needed shares. You must give them an assurance. So those are the kind of things they demand from such innovators. You see, you are seeking for sponsorship because you're not able, and then they are, you know, tagging some
they're saying
favors,
unless you give me this,
you are not able to meet. You know, it's a form of bribe. So these are the kind of things that are happening. I know there's a lot of frustration, and what I'm trying to say is that if the government is willing to streamline organizations like the Kenya Institute of Private, is it called Professional Pro? It's called Kenya Institute of Property Intelligence or something that's, you know, KIPI. Now, if they would instill morality by enforcing the laws that have been set to run that kind of organization, you can imagine checking if an idea is in anywhere in the world. It's just a click of a button, because they are actually connected to the database that is actually
so that you can copyright
run in France.
Yes.
So because that's the headquarters, they have every detail. It's just accessing it, and they have the access.
So if you access, you're able to know what is copyrighted, intellectual property rights.
Yes, it's a walk-in service. You just go, give them whatever, tell them whatever you want, then they click, at the click of a button, they will know, here ina mtu mwingine. And they'll give you the patent rights. You know, so getting the patent rights in Kenya is one of the hardest things, because unless they discover that this thing is not so viable economically, that's why they just weenda na hiyo karatasi ni yako, or they didn't know how to use it. Sometimes when they see something they can benefit from, they don't allow it to go. So what we're trying to say is that if the laws are really adhered to the latter, then I think we can be able to, you know, be within a certain good morals environment. And our young people will be hopeful if they find a system that is running such.
And it's very predictable.
Yes, when you have when you don't have a system, because a system is run by the laws and the statutes that are in place. If those are not affected, then they won't really help anyone after the exit of whichever leadership. You know, John Michuki applied a law that was put in place in 1972 using safety belts. 1972. Then he brought it back in 2008. And he transformed it. Today we're still enjoying the pleasure. There are children who are born. Now they know you need your own seat and fasten your seat. You know, these are things that they didn't know, that they were neglected for the longest time. And it's simply because of anyone put in the place of or a position that has responsibility, they abscond their responsibility and maybe concentrate on other things. It's just the same thing you're seeing right now. Not so many people in leadership, especially in government right now, are concentrating on what they're supposed to be doing in office. They're concentrating on what they should do to sustain a government that has given them some work to do. So they're into politics. Presidential politics, as a matter of fact, not really what goes with their ministry. And this is what allows the rot, because the CS is not there. The PSs have now been drawn into the politics. The directors are now into politics, you know, every now and then. And I think the ones who are left in the office, they're the ones now who will now enhance that nepotism and the tribalistic whatever mindset. So I think moral decay, we need to address it right from State House to the village, because you see the one in the village is being pushed to do this by force, because you need it. The way to get it is to force
They
it
have
out.
to bribe.
That's why you could see even in the politics that were there in Mount Kenya, they had to squeeze out something, and they were saying, "Hii mali bado ni yetu, wacha tuikule." It's not really for the good of the president. It was just to ensure that at least something comes back to you. Because now you can imagine the kind of taxes that are coming up with the preliminary budget that is being will be publicized very soon. It's got a lot of taxes, including the increment, the increment on the tax, the VAT, value-added tax, which is expected to come to around 18% from 16. So that means
the cost of goods, materials will go up.
The power to expand will actually be hampered big time.
Now, when you look at that and you look at how we are behaving as what you can call the mature.
Yeah.
Yesterday, former President Rigathi Gachagua goes into a church. And as he's walking in, as his entourage has gone in, then all of a sudden, there's scores of young people heckling and shouting. They just burst through into the church compound, destroy vehicles, steal from the congregation, all in the name of trying to fight Gachagua.
Yes.
I don't know whether it was the president or Sakaja, like they are saying, but we are setting a precedent that is going to come and bite us.
Yeah, very soon. And it's a monster. We are creating. It's almost inundating. Dealing with it is becoming quite a Herculean task. Because when, let's say, State House embraces such, because the president has power to make executive orders. He has power to say something and becomes law. As the president, who is the head of state, he can say it, and the administration can follow, which means the police and the administration hierarchy can adhere to it and follow and ensure that it's implemented
to the letter.
To the latter. That's why whatever blames may come, we may talk about the goons, but there was a nearby police station, police post, so communication would have been done. So Vigilant House would have heard about this and taken action. That means the backstops of the IG. The IG would have taken action. But if the IG, who has the commander-in-chief of the Kenya Defense Force, where the police come in, maybe is sloth on that issue because of maybe the political interest, may not really take action because might offend the boss, you know? And this is what is happening. There's always sporadic disruptions at the CBD when these guys are getting their payment in the name of being addressed by the governor, the governor of Nairobi, Jeshi governor. You know? And they actually hoover around the town in matatus, you know, after they've gotten their pay, you know, as Jeshi Sakaja.
Yes.
And this is creation of you know, such terror groups. And the moment you create them for political interest, they might find your daughter, they might find your son, your nephew, your wife, your sister in the streets. And the day one of them will be touched, that's the time you realize, what have I been doing?
Because once they taste blood, they become a completely different creature.
Absolutely. Until former CS Muturi's son was touched. CS Muturi hadn't spoken about this whole thing. Until Ruto's son is touched. Maybe the Matatu thing, it wouldn't make some sense. And had it been maybe the goons who are attacking people and your son is happens to be around the vicinity, or
you get concerned.
That kind of thing, you'd get concerned. This is why I'm saying that you see this selfish thing, selfish attitude, selfish mentality is what is killing our society right now. And the insecurity thing we're seeing with the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is unfortunate. Kama amependwa.
And they've attacked him
this is
severally.
politics. They've attacked him severally. They've started it. And what they experienced in Mount Kenya, they thought that people in Mount Kenya would be going out in full support of the president and his entourage. But they know what they know. Because when we talk politics here, and you realize that the people of Mount Kenya have left UDA and the government, these are people who already made up their mind, and we said it, that yes. Some of them were saying they were on temporary employment, you know, for a week, you know, 2 or 3 days. I mean, we could get 1,000,
what's
2,000,
hilarious
3,000,
videos,
and still get back to their default settings that 2027 you must go. And this is how this kind of politics is playing about, and I know the intelligence must have informed it. But I think the way to respond to it is not really to allow these goons to come around, because you've had people say, oh, wizi merudi, watu wangeta wa merudi.
Yeah, true.
No, not necessarily the ones who are now following. People, I mean, the goons are feeling so free. They have a free day, anytime, any day, because the security is relaxed, you know. And the day the people shall decide to defend themselves,
it's going to be messy.
It's going to be so messy. If you can remember what happened in Kirinyaga, when Kirinyaga people decided it's no longer the police, it's us with the Mungekis, some years back.
Yes.
It was terrible. And what I'm trying to say is that we don't let things get to that level. I think the government should
act now.
Should act now,
yes.
And leaders should stop being reckless and so politically, you know, infiltrated with, you know, negative politics of Mutu, protecting Mutu, yet you are the CS of Interior or you're the CS of Defense. I mean, you should know how sensitive that kind of a position is. Or you are the CGH. I mean, it's time that we don't play politics with the serious issues. Those serious departments, I think they should really
divorced from this.
They should be divorced from such. Because let me tell you, the day terrorists, and I'm praying it doesn't happen, terrorists shall discover that now they can access Kenya anyhow with the IDs that were given before the president makes another decree. It stands.
True.
And guys are already in millions getting the IDs. You may think you're giving them to come and vote, but they may get them for other purposes,
and they come for your government.
And they come for your government. You know, these are the kind of things that are well-advised leadership is supposed to consider. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that the intelligence will be blamed at some point. Why didn't you notify the president, notify who is the commander-in-chief, notify the military, notify whoever? These intelligence departments, once they're politicized,
yes,
they completely lose. You talk about the porosity of the border.
Yes,
that's the porosity of a system. And when it happens, it means there is no protection, there is no government, there is no peace in the minds and in the hearts of the people, because the 1, 2, 3 attacks that cannot be explained, I mean, that is something that you start questioning.
True.
Yeah.
All right, unfortunately, time is up for us, Mureithi.
Already?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, time is flying pretty fast.
I think we need more time for this. Because there are several areas we would have touched, but I think for the interest of time.
Yes, so we bring down the curtains on the show. Remember, at 11:30, we are going to have Gatuzi talking about what's happening in the counties. They still, I don't know why we've never settled this. The amount of money or percentage of money that the county governments are supposed to be given. Then at 2 p.m. we have, you know, sports. We have Emmanuel and his team basically talking about some of the matches that happened in the course of the weekend. Who lost, who won, who didn't get anything, all that. And so with that, we got to bring the curtains on the show and do wish you a very blessed morning. God bless you.
Amen.